Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dbacks Dispatch here. We got another series to talk about, another series win, a sweep even. The team's on a 6-game winning streak. Literally haven't lost a game since the All-Star. I'm kidding. Like, it literally feels like they not lost at all since the All-Star break. Knock on wood. So everyone, thanks for tuning in to us here at Dbacks Dispatch. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. Make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you're notified every time we go live. Follow us on Twitter at Dbacks Dispatch. Then find us on all audio platforms. Just search Dbacks Dispatch. We appreciate all the love. But no, D-backs got another one, like, as they should. The Colorado Rockies are one of the worst teams in baseball, so a sweep is not, like, unheard of. But we were close to losing 2 of those games. But players stepped up when they needed to. Marte did start this game, but he lasted 1 at bat. Looks like his ankle was still a little bit bruised. We did find out it's just a low-grade ankle sprain. So to me, I'm like, maybe not play him for a couple of days. Just let it heal. I think we're in a really good spot right now, so it's not needed. The true ace of the Dbacks staff, Brandon Pfaadt, started game 1. It was one of those Brandon Pfaadt outings where most of the game he's dominant. He's very, very good. He just has that one inning where he just completely blows up. He ended up going 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned, but 11 strikeouts. So he's definitely gotten that strikeout pitch working. His ERA is under 4. He's a 7-6 record, which we all know should be a lot better. He's had so many great outings where offense just did not show up. He is 5-2 since June 1st. So we know that Pfaadt, like, when he gets in a rhythm, he can go on a roll. Like, he could set down like 10 in a row, but he'll have that one inning where it's an occasional blow up. Gabe, is this just something that we're going to have to get used to with Brandon Pfaadt? Like, he's just going to have just a blow up inning, or is this something that you feel can be fixed?
I think it'd be fixed. I mean, I think we've seen times where he's been able to get it under control just enough. But I guess in this game, it was a lot of like weird hard contact or even soft contact against him. But I mean, we can't just discount the fact that the record doesn't show how good this Rockies offense is and has been for most of the season. They do have some boppers on their team, so you can't just go in there expecting to strike everybody out. And I felt at times that maybe that's what Brandon was trying to focus on, maybe just trying to strike out guys instead of relying on his defense. But I mean, that's why we saw 11 strikeouts, 7 innings. But this is one of those, starts where he kind of just didn't have his best, not his best stuff, but he didn't have his best command, I should say, throughout the game, especially in that inning when he got knocked around a little bit. He was just missing his zones. The sweeper was, way outside. The fastballs weren't hitting the spots. So overall, he just had one inning, I think, where he just couldn't locate, which I think is a little different from the other ones where he's locating, but they're just hitting it super hard. And in this case, it wasn't really that. But then there's also that home run to dead center, which no idea how they got that. Like that ball just carried and it just went over the little overhang. But I don't think so. Like I said, I think they can just get these sort of things under control. I mean, it happens to everybody. Montgomery has these, Gallen has these. Most pitchers will have one blow up inning, whether it's at the beginning or the middle of the game. And I think that's kind of the issue is that it comes during the middle of the game, so we remember it more. But like, look at something like Merrill Kelly, where he had a blow up in the first inning in his first start, and then he just sat down like 17 in a row or something like that. So we completely forgot about it. But I think if they would have scored 4 early, then he had 6 perfect innings after that. We would just been focused on the perfect innings rather than the ones where they hit him.
Yeah, like it's very consistent. Like he'll just have that one inning where it's like 3 hits in a row, 2 runs, but like the rest of the game, he was great. Like 11 strikeouts in 7 innings is really like with him for me, it's that sweeper. If he can keep that sweeper from sweeping not in the middle of the plate, like if he can keep it on the corners or having it sweep out of the zone, I think he could be really dominant. Like that is his pitch. His sweeper is truly something special. Like I really enjoy watching that pitch. So, um, Brett, for you there with Fott, like have you gotten used to just this is who he is? He's going to have that one inning where it's just something's going to happen, whether it's his command or teams are picking up on him or just bad pitches? Or do you think Strom and like the entire staff will figure it out and maybe figure out what the issue is?
So I don't know if it's I don't want to say he might have some kind of, you know, like focusing issues, on like, staying locked in. Like he might go, oh, cool. Like complacent, not get complacent. That sounds bad. He's a competitor. Like I'm not saying he's doing that. He's big game Brandon. But when I was looking at some of the stats, like inning by inning, just like in his career, obviously his career, it's last year's call up, and some of those numbers kind of inflate this. So I also looked at his 2024. So in this year alone, he has a 3.3 ER or 3.38 ER in the first inning. So it seems like, sometimes he'll get hit around. First inning sometimes will be his blow up inning, then he settles down, or he'll have a clean first. Second inning this year, he has a 1.13 ERA, so just really clean and efficient. Usually probably the middle to the bottom of the order. And then the third inning this year jumps back. It's literally the same as the first inning. It's another 3.38. Fourth inning, same thing again, back to 2.63. Once he gets into the fifth inning, though, this year, and it's, we've seen him consistently, I feel, get past 5, more often than not. The fifth inning this year, his ERA is 7.33. So I don't know if it's something about maybe like he just loses a little bit of control, kind of like what Gabe was talking about in one of those innings where he just was a little bit more wild than like we've probably grown accustomed to. But it was a little surprising knowing, like I figured everything might be like in the 3 and 4s. Like obviously it's not like the fifth inning is the only inning he gives up runs. I believe in this one, it was the fourth inning against the Rockies that he started to give up those 3 or 4 runs, which is one of his better innings just off of ERA wise. But it's still, I think, one of those where whatever it is, I think he just has like a batter or two or an inning or so where he just kind of tries to overthrow it or might, have some mechanical thing. Because again, he's still young. Obviously, if just stepping to the other side of the rubber last year was enough to fix him, it could be a little bit of, maybe he's like opening his hips a little bit too much on a certain pitch when he's trying to like, get his sweeper to sweep outside to a righty. So that's why it's kind of sailing on him. Again, I'm not a pitching coach. I could be speaking gibberish. It's just the only thing I could really think of, because when he's on, he's on. And just off of the ERA alone, it's not like it's only one inning that it's crazy. It's not, I didn't get his ERA by batters the first, second, and third time around, which I can get before we move on when I pass it back to you, Brandon. But I don't know. I think it just might be maybe there's a batter or an inning or so where he might just be either in his own head thinking a batter or so ahead instead of focusing on, or even a pitch or two ahead instead of just focusing on executing that one pitch. Like I know that's a part of pitching. You're always planning on the other. It's not just, this pitch, that's why tunneling can be a big thing. Go, sinker inside, sweeper away. It's going to, kind of mess with him. I get that. But sometimes maybe he's a little too focused on 3-4 pitches down the road. I don't know what it could be. I just think it might be a mental, kind of like slip, because then there's times where he'll have a blow up inning and then he immediately goes back to shutting guys down. Either he makes an adjustment or whatever that lineup had on him in that inning, they just don't see it anymore.
Yeah, for me, like it changes start to start. Like some starts, I'm like, he just had a bad inning. He'll figure it out. But like, it really feels like it's something that you can predict. Like he's just gonna have that one blow up inning, and you just hope that the offense that day, and like you just hope it's not like a big one, like a 5-6 blow up inning. Maybe it's only a 2-3 run blow up inning, but he for the most part has been really really good. Like yes, his record doesn't show it, and you might say, well, he has a pretty high ERA. But yeah, I'm like, that's the season total, but you need to look at what he's been like the last 2 months. Like his last 2 months have been like he is without a doubt our best starter this season. And there is no debate in my mind that it's anybody else. Because he's been consistent.
So do you want? I can do a quick stat comparison. So if we're going off of June, because I feel like June 1st is the best way, or
Yeah.
the easy way to compare a lot of this. So from June 1st through now, he's at 13 games started. He has a 3.82 ERA. Hitters are slashing 246, 285, 410 against him.
Yeah, that right there shows me like he's being dominant.
I'm going to look up what Ryan Nelson's numbers have been since then, because I do agree that the Fod is better than him. But I think Nelson might have been a little bit better than him.
I believe Nelson should have like a 2.5, but I mean,
same starts. He has a 3.72 ERA. Hitters are slashing against Nelson, 236, 283, 392. So very
comparable.
Simple,
but I mean, what do you guys prefer? That they hit him every inning, or just concentrate, the bad inning to just the one inning? That allow 3 runs in one inning, or consistently throughout the game they'll get a run across.
If you asked me in the beginning of the season when they're the lay down in Diamondbacks, I would say please neither. But now that we've seen what the offense is, I'd rather have him just have just the one bad inning, and then hopefully the offense again, whether it be the offense digging him out of the hole, or he kind of gives up a chunk of, kind of like what Monty did today in Game 3 that we'll get to. He gives up a chunk of the runs back. I'd rather have it be in one inning than slowly overall throughout the game feeling like they're chipping away.
Yeah, like if you would have asked me when we were 7 games under 500, I'd say spread it out. But what we've gotten the last, I'd say, since the All-Star breaks, like the last 6 weeks, he's been just like, I'm fine. As long as the blow up is like 3 runs, anything more than that, I don't like it. But it's not something you can control. The numbers probably show the last 2 months Ryan Nelson has been the best pitcher, but I think overall the entire season, Fod has been the most consistent. Because Nelson's first 2 months, they were multiple starts. I'm like, all right, we've seen enough from Nelson from last year, from 22. Like maybe he's just not that guy. He made me eat my words the last 2 months. I really, truly feel it is something with his mechanics. I think they figured it out because, and I think Gabe pointed it out, he doesn't reach back as far when he's throwing the ball. Like he doesn't pull all the way back. It's just like partially. And it's just like just little things like that can make such a huge difference. Like it's crazy how mechanics can change everything with a pitcher. Just like little things. So
I mean, right here, Bryce Stein says that he prefers to like scratch a run here or there so it doesn't kill him with the momentum. I think the issue with that, and my point of view is, how long it takes him to get out of an inning. Is he throwing 15 pitches? Is he throwing 10 pitches? Because the one blow up inning, he'll throw 25 pitches and then move on again to 7, 8, 9 pitches. And I think if they're scratching runs across every inning, then it's 15, 20, 3 or 4 innings instead of the 7 ones. So I think it would affect the amount of innings that he throws if they're scratching, like in this case, 4 runs. If these 4 runs came in different innings, I don't think he'd be able to get out of the 6, because it's really hard to get out of the to 7 innings when in every inning you're having to work through guys on base, and it really affects the whole game. And in this case, it's just the one really bad inning, then just the random home run that came in, I think in the 7th or the 6th. But that's why I think it's better to concentrate everything into one inning, so then you can kind of expect it to a certain extent too. It's coming, so then you kind of just prepare for it, whatever way it is. Like have Strami ready to go, have Perdomo, ready to cheer him on and stuff, instead of having to come out every single inning just to calm him down, or call a whole bunch of timeouts and everything. Because I mean that affects the flow of the game as well.
Yeah. So I think they have figured it out, and I think he will continue. Like, because I'm pretty sure I think there's only like a handful of starts where he didn't at least go 5. I know there was a start at San Diego, but that's because he got hurt, like because he got hit on the ankle. Like I think that one was like either 4 1/3 or 4 2/3. Hey, Bubba, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it as well. We got Dank here as well. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate the support, you guys. But I think Fott, for the most part, like we know, and I think he like it's almost like you can write it down at least 6 innings with Fott, which is huge because for a long portion of the season, we would have a week straight where none of them would get through the 5th, and it was tough on the bullpen. And I think we are starting to see the results of that, of them going deep. Like bullpen just doesn't seem as tired. Also, we made a lot of changes to the bullpen at the trade deadline, so I think that's another factor. So I'm really, for me with Fott, last season it was like I don't know what we're getting in a Fott start. Like if you would have asked me, like in the postseason, I was almost like, all right, so this is going to be a loss because he's not that good. Whatever it was, whatever changed October of last year, he has continued to roll with it. Like I think it was just confidence. I really do.
I agree. I think it's just that, and then also I guess that's the big key with it. Just confidence, not just in yourself, just in your actual stuff, and knowing not only am like I a good pitcher, like my sinker will move how I want it. I don't got to worry about aiming it. I got to just go out there and throw it and let your pitches speak for you.
Yeah. So we spent a little time here on Fott. I just think because all three of us are very passionate about Brandon Fott. Like we've seen how good he is, and we know that he can get even better. So still on game 1 here. We're gonna talk about, I think, someone that if you would have asked me in spring training, is this going to be one of our most consistent good players? I've been like, if that's the case, we're in a big trouble. And that's Kevin Newman. Like this is another Mike Hazen, like just going for a depth piece. And it has worked out so well. Like he's played 87 games this year. Yeah, his OPS isn't that high, but what he was able to do when Domo was out 2 months, he really solidified that shortstop position. Like I think if Blaze had to do that full time, I don't know if we would be where we are right now. I think he was able to steady the ship. Well, I mean, Kevin Newman is our 3rd best defender. He has 5 outs above average, which is 3rd behind Walker and Ketel Marte. And he is a doubles machine, you got. Like, he has 17 doubles in just 87 games. Like, that's, for a guy that doesn't play that much, it's really, really impressive. Like, I'm truly, like, it just seems like there's just, every game, like, there's just one play that he makes, whether it's a fantastic defensive play or he gets a clutch hit or gets a walk. Like, I'm just like, there goes that man, that Kevin Newman. And what's interesting, he originally did not make the team out of spring. He was cut. They sent him down to Reno. That didn't last very long. They called him up, and again, he did a phenomenal job kind of holding down the shortstop position. Gabe, do you think the Diamondbacks would be where they are right now, 3.5 games out of first place, the first wild card team? Like, do you think we would be in this spot, or do you think we would still be in the playoffs, but maybe back to where like the Cardinals and the Mets are, like only a couple games up?
I think definitely this season, just because of how many injuries we've had, we've needed every guy, all hands on deck this season, and Kevin Newman has been able to stay healthy enough for this team so they can plug and play him. Like some of the comments are mentioning, playing it all around the infield. We've needed him to do that. He can't, he's not a guy like, and I don't mean to shade in any sort of way, but like Josh Bell is purely a first baseman and a DH. Like you can't just plug and play him in second base or third base. So he's been incredibly valuable, just steadying the ship while we've had a lot of these guys out. I mean, we were out from Perdomo for 2 months, and then Suarez struggled, so he plugged in for him. He's been incredibly valuable to his team, and the thing is, it's all of them. Everybody has. I struggle to think of a guy who truly hasn't contributed to this team, but they've all contributed in some way or another. I think I saw a stat, it was like in the 8 walk-offs I believe that they've had, it's been a different guy. It's not like it's been all Cattell, all Corbin. It's been 8 different guys who have contributed to walking off for this team. So I think it just shows the amount of depth that Mike Hazen was able to acquire this offseason, getting guys like Newman. Like he wasn't out there, looking for a Juan Soto or something like that, one of these big free agent guys. I know Juan Soto's a free agent, but these sort of big splashy moves. He was just getting guys in the peripherals who he felt could make a difference on this team, and they've been just so incredibly
His
valuable.
contract is 1 year, $1 million. Like he's getting paid nothing. Like he's completely outplaying that. Like I don't know if they'll re-sign him next year. Someone will. Like they'll see that he still has it, and I think a lot of people weren't sure of that because he had been like doing a lot of 1-year deals the last few seasons. I think he has proved that he is still a very solid baseball player. Literally can play all forward infields.
Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily a everyday guy. I think he works really well with the platoon, just so you can hide him a little bit with certain pitchers. But they've been platooning him, Jock, Grichuk. Like we have 3 guys that we can plug and play throughout the season. And right now, without Cattell, we're looked pretty good at second. Like I mean, even at first, he had a couple plays where I was like, Walker would have gotten there or Cattell would have gotten that. But the more comfortable he's getting, he's making really, really good plays. Like he had that Derek Jeter like play the other day where he just reached all the way out to the other side and was able to get it and get the out. So and like I said, not just Newman. Like I want to give a lot of credit to Newman, but it's everybody. This whole team has just been really amazing for the last couple of months, where all of them, they're all contributing in different ways. Like I said, I don't think there's a single guy. I know they sent down Alec, but even him, all these guys are contributing in one way or another.
Yeah, like there have been like a past few seasons where like whoever the backup second shortstop and third baseman were, I was like, okay, this is not going to go well. Like I know when they put in Kevin Newman that it's not going to be as much of a drop off in offensive and defensive production. So that's what I think just the things that he does, like he just plays good defense. He works at bats. Like he plays the game the right way. And I think this will be huge come September, because we're going to have a lot of guys that have a lot of experience. That's going to be huge because if things keep going the way that they are with us and the Padres, that final series of the year could decide the first and second place wild card team.
It could decide literally if the season ended, if the stats and the standings and the wild cards stay the exact same way they are at the end of the year until that series, the winner of that series decides who gets to be at home to play that same team for the very same wild card series. It's literally the 1 and 2 seed play each other. So, isn't it? Or is it the one and
Yes. So it's the
That's
1
right.
and
The
2.
Marlins were above us last year. They played the
Yep.
Phillies, who were so the 1 and 2. So if we're the 1 and the Padres are 2, and we're going to that final series and we lose, we're going into San Diego. It's gonna be a very hostile environment. So we need to make sure we're at least above them enough to where that final series doesn't matter.
Oh,
But
trust
they
me,
said
Bryce.
that Citizens-
We are keeping our eyes on this game right now with the Dodgers.
I have it up there right there.
Come on, Brewers. Get it down to 3.
I don't think this team cares about hostile environments. They literally faced off against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium, took 2, and then they took what 3 in Citizen? No, 2. They took the last 2 away in Citizens Bank Ballpark, which is supposedly like the most hostile, best crowd. Measuring on the Geiger counter, whatever the hell bullcrap that they're measuring. That
when they're winning, but when they're losing, that place was dead in Game 7.
Yeah.
It was dead. Like, it was so great to see because of all the trash. It's not even the players; it's their fans that talk this. And I'm like, you guys don't have the ability.
There's
to
a lot
back
of them
it up.
that are really just chill fans that are just you're gonna talk shit to the team you're playing in the playoffs. That's just gonna be how the playoffs work. But there were some fans that were like, I get if you want to talk shit about the team, but like when you're taking it on like the full on like city and you're trying to like, make fun of the fan base into like that point, I'm like, okay, like be ready for the shit talk that's gonna come your way if you guys would lose, and you did again in 4 games here.
Yeah, so we took Game 1 there. It wasn't pretty. We won on 2 wild pitches, and you want to know what happened? Like Kevin Newman on the first one went first to third. Like that is something that you don't see in the box score.
If Cattell didn't roll his ankle and he didn't get taken out and he still had kind of if it wasn't rolled but it's still bruised, he's not scoring on those.
Nope. I mean, we would have been tied, so who knows what would have happened, but that is like plays like that, which if you are watching other teams and you just box score watching, that doesn't no one looks at how many wild pitches. Like, they just look at, oh, this guy was 1 for 4. Like, it's just certain things like that when you actually physically watch the games, you realize how important these players are. Like, Domo does it every day. He does something that you're like you'll say, oh, he had a walk, but if you actually look back, it's like a 9-pitch at bat. Like, that man's knowledge of the strike zone is amazing.
He's like, Juan Soto without the power.
I wasn't gonna say that, but
I mean, I know it's not a 1-to-1, but it's when you're trying to find guys in the league that genuinely have the kind of play discipline where, I mean, again, Domo takes some of the ballsiest 2-2 and 3-2 takes that I genuinely only see a guy like, Juan Soto make. I don't even think of other guys I can fully off the top of my head. Like Aaron Judge, I feel like gets robbed a lot of the times. He gets more strike threes called. So I think
because his strike zone is so
exactly. So he's really close up there he has a really good strike zone. I know there's other guys. So again, I know Domo isn't on Juan Soto's level. Juan Soto's borderline the next Ted Williams. But there's times where it feels like it because I'm like, how did the umpire not call that? Oh my God, dude. Like you got lucky. You were gambling and it paid off. But yeah, like I said, sometimes it feels like we just got Juan Soto. It's like the meme of if Barry Bonds played a season without a bat, It's like if Juan Soto went up there for the Diamondbacks without a bat. That's sometimes what Geraldo Perdomo feels like.
Yeah, I love watching him play. So moving on to Game 2, Eduardo Rodriguez makes his first start at home. It was decent. It was a lot like Brandon Pfaadt. He had 1 blow-up inning. Outside of that, it was a really good start. Josh Bell continues to hit. Like, this is like we literally gave him up for a bag of peanuts. It's a player to be named later or cash. So literally nothing. And the way he's playing, he's going to force the team to have to make a really difficult decision when Walker comes back. Like, what are they going to do about this DH situation? Because right now it's working out well, but you cannot sit a guy as hot as Josh Bell is right now. You just can't. Bullpen, we are seeing the bullpen that we had in October last year, where like if there's a lead after 6, it's almost over. Like the way, and I think Toria's got a better grasp on how to handle the closer situation. I don't think he's going to come out and say Justin Martinez is the closer, because I think it's just a whole, because we've seen what happens with J Mart when he gets too excited. So I just think that he's not going to say he's the closer. He's going to say matchups, but lately, it seems like he gets the job done. And Jake McCarthy, oh my God. So we're just going to go straight into it. Jake McCarthy right now is on an absolute freaking tear. Like, I know it's only half the month, but if he continues this, he's going to be the National League Player of the Month, without a doubt. Like, since the All-Star break, 129 at-bats. His OPS is 904. Like, before, I think it was Friday, he had 3 home runs on the season. He had like 7 by Monday. He had a multi-homer game. Before the game here on Wednesday, he had 4 straight multiple hit games. He had 4 in a row. Like, he's absolutely raking. He's hitting over 400 in August. Like, his last 30 days is simply amazing. Jake has had a stellar second half. That walk-off was not just on Jake. Like, that was a team walk-off, because
he even said on the podcast he was on, I believe, this morning. He said he didn't even have the best at-bat in that entire inning.
No. Yeah, like, you had Carroll's triple, which I love. Like, anytime that he hits a ball in that right field corner, it's a triple every time. With his speed, it's the only way that it's not a triple is if he goes slow out of the box. And even if he does, he has the speed to make up for it, because that right field corner is very, very far from third base. Like, there's only a few handful of players that I would feel like if he does hit it into the corner, they can throw him out, because if Mookie Betts is there, I think that's a double. Like, I don't think he would risk it. And props to ADC. In that moment, it's his 4th game of his major league career. Most rookies would be swinging out of their shoes. He's cool as a cucumber. Earns that walk. And just Jake McCarthy. Just get, like, it's not even like he slapped it right inside the third base bag, scored. Just so amazing. Like, Jake McCarthy is on an absolute tear. Jake has had a stellar second half, and it does not look like he's slowing down anytime soon. Gabe, what has impressed you the most about Jake this season?
I don't know. I think it's just overall who he's become. Like, I know we've talked about, 2022, first half Jake and blah, blah. Like, he's so much better than he was in 2022. And last year he had a down year. I think he's just finally pulling all the pieces together. But the thing is, he is 27 years old. He's not a young guy anymore. We talk about Alec, and his struggles. He's 3 years older than Alex. He was a little bit older than Alec when he came into the league as well. So I think finally he's starting to put it together in his, 4th full year. And I mean, they got to figure out what to do with them. I don't think they're going to trade him at this point, but you got to figure out what to do. Either sign him to a little bit of an extension or figure something out, because come arbitration time, if he keeps these numbers up, then he's going to get paid, anywhere from 5 to 10 million easily. So you got to figure out what to do with him. But he's been just so clutch and so amazing. It seemed like every time he's up to bat, you're like, he's going to do something. So even when he doesn't do something, you're like, oh man, like, next time, like, you have enough trust in him. And in this case, with a nickname Dell, apparently Del Castillo. His nickname is Del. And Domo, both of them, just taking their walks, making the guy work. And then he comes up there, he takes a couple of bad little hacks, and then he gets a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, like way outside the zone. I mean, that thing was not in the zone. It was way too high, and he just slapped it the other way. And that's something that we've talked about. It's taking what they're giving you. If you know he's gonna come at you with the fastball, just throw your bat at it. Don't go for the home run, and that's seemingly what he's not doing. He's not going for home runs. He's just slapping, singles, doubles, and triples here and there. He's getting whatever they're giving him. He's not trying to do too much, which is sometimes what's happened with certain guys, which is why we've been seeing a lot more double plays and strikeouts. Just everyone kind of just starts to get a little home run reliant. But with him, he hasn't done that at all. He's just been going up there and he's like, I'm going to find a way on base. And he just, wills himself in one way or another. And, having Cattell down and stuff, he's been incredibly valuable for this team. Like, he's the one who's been starting these rallies, especially against Philadelphia, which is 15 RBI. Like, when do you ever hear a guy have 15 RBI in a 4-game series? Like, he's been incredible. He's just racking up all the stats right now, and hopefully, I mean, he keeps this up for the rest of the month. So then he does win the Player of the Month.
You're muted.
White Sox had the opportunity. They had their pick. It was either Dominic Fletcher or Jake McCarthy, and they chose Dom.
It's crazy.
I don't understand that.
Like, I believe our former farm director went to the White Sox before that trade happened too. So maybe there's just something about Fletcher that he thought that there was something in Fletcher they thought they could unlock, kind of like what we're seeing with Jake McCarthy this year, and maybe he still can. I mean, even Jake McCarthy, he had a good year, then a bad year. Finally seeing it now, but I mean, I agree. It is. Thank you, White Sox. Again, I'm so sorry, Dominic Fletcher. You have to be a part of that organization, but oh my God, I appreciate you making the wrong choice.
Yeah. So Brett, what has impressed you the most about Cactus Jake?
I mean, I think it might be a little bit of what I was talking about, with Domo, of his plate discipline's really, really good, especially against lefty. I know me personally, like I might have mentioned it before, but facing, I never fully got a righty wants to face a lefty, you want to face the opposite hand. To me, like, it always been like, dude, I couldn't ever read a lefty when they're like, especially like Chris Sale. I don't know how any righty ever hits that, or anybody in general with the arm angle and all that. So I think impressive that with how the game is and lefties can't face a lefty, righties can't face a righty as much. Jake is just proving he's like, I don't care. Like, I genuinely just put me in the lineup. Like, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna take my, he doesn't walk as much, but I feel like he gets into a lot of really good, 2-2, 3-2 counts. He'll fight off some tough pitches. Even if he does strike out, he works up the count. And then I think the biggest thing that's impressed me the most is his defense. I know he's not known as, it's not like he's a terrible defender. He's really fast. He is a good defender. He was part of the reason why we had the no-fly zone last year. And even when we joked about it in this game, when he started off with that beautiful diving catch to center field, I was like, damn. Like, I texted in the group chat, Jake went, Alec who? Because that's a play that we really see, like Corbin really only has that like front, kind of front sliding catch. And Alec is one of the only few I feel like that is making those like, full on blooper leaping out in front of it, taking the chance on if it gets by him, it's going to be probably an extra base hit. But I think that's probably the two biggest things that has impressed me the most is just his plate discipline, especially with lefties, and kind of getting that Perdomo-esque, fight in him where he's not going to chase. If he doesn't get a pitch he can't do anything with, but it's in the zone, he's going to fight it off. And then just at least being I know it's a very small sample size, but if we can see the way it's trending, because even in game 3, there's a moment where I was like, ooh, yeah, Jake, maybe don't call off Randall Grichuk on that. And I don't think Alec does.
That was the last play of the game, by the way.
Was that what do you mean? That was I thought that was the beginning of game 3.
No, well, all I know is the last play of the game. They were about to collide, but Lourdes
Then
goes
that was again, but either way, there are a few plays that I think Alec will still make like look a lot easier than Jake. But I feel like Jake's made a big stride in his center field defense. That's made me a little bit more comfortable with like, we talked about last episode. Maybe he does, obviously, when we're going to San Fran and Miami, maybe he can lock it down there defensively.
Yeah. For me, biggest thing is the fact that he is consistently dominant against left-handed pitching. Like that to me, like it's so rare to see a left-handed hitter. And Gabe just gave us some great news. Dodgers lost. So we're now 3 games out. So let's see if the Brewers can do it on Thursday.
Or 2.5.
2.5.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was at 3. It was at 3.5 the start of the day. We won. It's 3. So now it's 2.5. So the Brewers can do their job tomorrow as well. It's 2. So yeah. Sorry. Like it's always so confusing. But Brewers, thanks for doing your job a little bit. But no, like
Pirates,
it's
boo Pirates, boo you.
It's so rare to see a left-handed hitter be so good against left-handed pitching. It is one of the things why so many lefties always get sit against a left-handed pitcher, because stereotypically they're not good. Most of the time, lefty hitters just don't do well because it's really hard to pick up the ball because it literally comes from behind you. So to me, if he can continue to do that, it might force the team to not have to re-sign Randall Grichuk and just have that platoon DH. Maybe next season be Gurriel plays DH and Jake plays defense against left-handers. So, moving on to our second topic here, game 2. Is Seawald good again? Like, question mark? So he's had 5 games since he was removed from the closer role, which was after the Washington National Series, so right at the trade deadline. And Brett said it on that episode. Give him the Kevin Ginkel. It looks like we got a Red Sox fan in here. Red Sox Nation, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it very much. We'll be doing a series recap on your boys here about a week or so, because that's our last game of that long road trip we're about to go on. So definitely go ahead and make sure to check that out. But no, Seawald, like Brett brought it up, do what they did with Kevin Ginkel. Put him in low leverage situations, get his confidence back, and we're really starting to see that. Now, it's a short sample size right now. I get it. 5 games is not a lot, but to me, his velocity's about the same on his fastball. It's about 91. So it's not like that's been fixed, but it's not as much hard to hit contact. Like, because when he was struggling with those blown saves, every either ball in play or foul ball was hard hit. So over 95 miles an hour. And that's like, you can't have that as a closer. So 5 games, 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, 5 Ks, combined OPS of 451. Yes, I said 451. Now, Gabe, how much longer do you want to see him in these non-safe situations doing well before they put him back in the closer role? Or do you want them to keep with what they're doing? Just have him be part of the A bullpen, but he's not the closer.
I think they should keep him in there until we see Justin Martinez, completely fall off the wagon, because I know he's had his difficulties here and there. I think a lot of it just he's very young, so he gets a little too excited, and he'll just commit, kind of these boneheaded plays. So, just put him to do some PFPs, just some personal fielding drills and stuff like that, so he can, make a better throw to second or to third or whatever it is, or just have him throw to first base, whatever that may be. But Seawald, I think, is better in these sort of roles for now and as of right now. Like I mean, I'm sorry, y'all, but I don't trust him going up against Otani, Freeman, and Mookie Betts. Like right now, the way he's been pitching, I mean, I know he can top out at around 93, but will he be able to throw 93 every single time? I don't know. But if Justin Martinez is out here throwing 103-mile-per-hour sinkers against Otani, I have more trust in him than I do in Paul, and I think Paul should stay in seventh, eighth, or 6, 7, and 8 innings. Like he gets the job done. My main issue with him is 3 walks. He's had 3 walks in 5 innings, so that means he's still having issues with location. It seems these last few times that he's gone out to in one of these to work one of these innings, he lets the main guy, the first guy that he faces on, he just walks him. He can't find his own. Then he settles in, gets the ground out or whatever it is. But as of right now, I think at least for a while, I want to see what Justin Martinez does because we mentioned it before. He's probably going to be our closer for next year. And coming into the playoffs, I would trust J Mart as of right now a little bit more. But again, we haven't seen J Mart completely, fall off completely. He hasn't really had too many blown actual saves. Most of the blown saves have come in extras when there's a guy on second, and it's just kind of an impossible situation at times. But again, if J Mart's continuing to get his saves, even if they're a little shaky, but like this is the Arizona Diamondbacks. We never had a closer who can come in and just get a 1-2-3 inning anyway. So we have a guy out there throwing 103. I trust him more than a guy throwing 91.
Yeah. For me, it's really difficult. Like, yes, I think Justin Martinez has this, like, the stereotypical stuff you see as a closer. Really good fastball, and like his slider's really good. His freaking splitter is straight nasty. I'm just worried that come postseason, the moment might be too big for him. But it really all depends on how he does the last month. Like, if he is put in those save situations the last month and he looks like he's just shutting them down, there's no issues whatsoever, then yeah, like keep him there. But right now, I'm a little hesitant because Justin Martinez has had those outings where it's like it just seems like he cannot find the strike zone. Domo comes and talks to him, and then he's fine. And I'm just like, maybe we maybe talk to him before he goes out there, or like as he finishes his warm-up pitches. So
but there's a difference between relying on a pep talk and relying on a guy to get 3 outs on an under 1 mile per hour fastball. Like if all it takes for J Mart to feel ready for the moment is for Domo to come out there, hype him up, that's fine by me. Like I don't really care. Like he's gonna get the job done. I trust him more than Seawald throwing 91 because you can't pep talk him to throwing 98 or 103.
And the main difference between the two is Seawald, if he misses because his fastball is 91, it's going to get destroyed. J Mart, if he misses with a pitch, it's either like way out of the zone or it's 102 mile per hour fastball. Like, that's why I'm fine either way. Like, I go back and forth with it a lot as to what the team should do. Right now, I'm fine with what they're doing. Keep Seawald in these low leverage situations. Game 2, he pitched in the 8th inning. Like, so that was a somewhat high leverage situation.
Against one of the worst teams in the National League, though.
Yeah,
but like Gabe said, they do still have a good offense, so it's not like just off of record-wise. I just wanted to throw that in there. It's different than facing the Phillies and the Dodgers.
So, Brett, what would you do in this situation? Like, would you continue what we're doing, have J Mart be the quote-unquote closer? Tori's never going to say it because I think if he says it, it's going to go to J Mart's head, and he's going to overthink when he's out there. Or do you want him to put Seawold back in there once he maybe have it like the next 2 weeks? He's been doing what he's doing, like shutting him down, and we're not like on the edge of our seat with every bitch with Seawold.
Yeah, I'm on the boat with Gabe. I would rather have J Mart like fully prove that he has lost the role, kind of like how Paul Seawald fully proved that he has lost the role. I know there still might be times where Torrey might use J Mart in the 8th and he goes to Pucker tea time in the 9th. I know it's still eventually gonna happen because, like you said, he hasn't committed to a full closer. But I would rather have Martinez, fully, lose the role. Obviously, the control issues, but like Gabe said, a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and I believe Bryce brought it up. He was touching 93.4 in his last outing, so it's good to see Paul, getting back to what he can do. But for me, I'd rather have Justin Martinez stay in the role, let him build that confidence, let him earn it. I think Bubba made a great point that Cleveland save should go a long way, especially with helping, kind of. I think even if he gets a big save, you never know. Sometimes it can be like every pitcher, their stuff can be different, but I'd still rather have him in that role and let Seawald continue to cook and continue to build the confidence. I know 5 games, but it's not like he's going out there against like the most insane, offenses and teams and all that. Sorry, that comment threw me off a little bit.
It threw me off too.
I stumbled for a second. But I think it's good, kind of like, how sometimes Ryan Thompson isn't, how we've talked about before, might not be made to be a closer. How some of these guys might not be like made for being a closer, but they're really good as setup men. They're really good at, still being high leverage A bullpen guys. I think we could see that from Paul. Like I would take 8th inning Paul giving me 93 on his fastball with good backdoor control on a sweeper. Like that's what he was so good at last year. That's why he was so effective in closing games. If he can get back to that and then continue to do that all of August, because it has only been 5 games in August that he's done these good things so far.
Yeah.
Where all of July
it's a small sample size right now.
Exactly.
But
and
what we got in July, I'm like, anything is progress.
2 against the Pirates, 2 against the Pirates, then it's Cleveland, Philly, Colorado. So 2 really good teams. A Colorado offense that I would definitely put up above the Pirates offense, at least a little bit. I feel like Toglia and some of the other guys they got are at least better hitters overall. But I would let things kind of sit how they're doing right now. Don't jump the gun just assuming that Paul's back and Paul's fixed after just 5 innings. Let him fully, earn his confidence back. Let him show Torrey, like, hey, man, I'm out pitching this guy that you have in the closer role. Put me back in there. And, like Gabe said, let that be a mixture of if Justin Martinez can't do it, can't do it. But I would still rather have Justin Martinez and his 103-mile-an-hour sinker up there facing like the Otanis and the Freemans and these guys. Like, I'd rather have that than I'm sorry, even the 93-mile-an-hour Paul. I'd rather have Paul Seawald getting those easy outs or those outs in the bottom half of the lineup in the 7th and 8th inning than the 9th inning when you got to face their 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I personally would. I'm like, you know what? You've already somewhat kind of dipped your toe in it with J-Mart with the closer role. It would just feel weird to go back. It really it'd feel like a major step back. If to remove him from that spot, because in my opinion, he hasn't done something to lose that. Since he's been in the closer, he's done really they've been stressful, but he's gotten the job done. And I don't. There's only a handful of players that I can see when he's closing that if he misses with his 102, it's going to go a long way. Shohei's one of them, and we've seen it. Yeah, I saw that too. I thought that was interesting.
That's crazy.
So yeah, the tank is definitely in. So took game 2 on the Jake McCarthy walk-off. Game 3, which was a matinee game today, completely sweat-free, you guys. Completely sweat-free. 4 runs in the first. Jock Peterson gets a little league home run. I don't know what happened with that throw. It threw it from first base all to like left center. I was laughing so hard. I'm like that's a bad throw. Game was started by Jordan Montgomery. His first quality start since June 21st. So not good. He did that sixth inning was a little rough, but he had a really high pitch count. And the only reason he was still pitching was because the lead. Like we had a massive lead at that point. I actually know it was 6-1, I think, at that point, wasn't it? Or like 7-1.
It was like 5-1, and then it was 5-0. He gave up a run. They made it 6-1. Then I believe he gave up 2 to make it 6-3 and pitched out of a gem.
So he ended up six innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, which I think was a big one. 106 pitches, 22 whiffs. Gabe, today was his first start in a while that looked like a competent Major League Baseball starting pitcher. Do you think he did enough to remain in the rotation? Or do you think Ryan has been so good lately that Ryan will be in the be a starter, or do you think they're going to try this 6-man rotation?
I guess it seems like they're trying the 6-man rotation, although maybe Tori will never say it. But he also did say, like, no, we're not doing 6-man. But I have a solution, I think, that can solve a lot of these issues, and it's either keep Montgomery, keep him at 85 pitches or 5 innings, like whichever ones comes first, because as of right now, it seems like that's kind of the sweet spot for him. He's had a couple starts where he reaches, either the 5th or he has 85 pitches, and then the wheels completely fall off of him, and he struggles to get outs after that. So I think keeping him right around 5 innings or 85 pitches is going to be perfect. Have him, basically go to the Dodgers school of pitching, which is max effort for 5 innings. Like, give it all you got for 5 innings, and like they've mentioned in the comments, like you've had, he was reaching close to 95. So if you put him, max effort, he will be reaching 95 miles an hour on that fastball, and then you bring in Ryan Nelson to, finish the job, which I know he can do. If he's throwing 99, he can probably reach 100 if he's going out max effort for the next 4 or 5 innings. So I think that would be the best solution, just to have him piggyback almost like a sort of opener. I guess the issue with that would be the players union might get involved because of the wins and losses matter and stuff like that. But there's no issue with either one of them. Why not? I mean, that's what the Dodgers did with Lance Lynn last year. I know, there's a whole music in the playoffs, blah blah blah. But when he first came up with them for the first 5 starts, he had like a 1.5 ERA. Like, he was kind of just demolishing opponents because he was out there throwing as hard as he could. And he has a quote about mass equals gas. Well, Draymond has a lot of mass, so he has a lot of gas left in the tank too. So again, while hasn't had a full spring training or even any sort of spring training, just say screw it. Just have him come out there, pitch 4 innings, 5 innings, 85 pitches, whatever it is. Just give us a max effort. Bring in Nelson, max effort, and I think we're going to be able to win a lot of games. We don't have to send anybody down. We don't have to send anybody to the bullpen, quote unquote. They're both going to have their opportunities to win games, because if Montgomery goes 5 innings, he has a chance to win. If he can only go 4, then Nelson has a chance to win. So I think it would be a good trade-off in total, because, again, Mont lefty and Ryan Nelson righty, they're going to have to empty out the bench, because they have all the righties against J-Mont. Then when Nelson comes in, they have to bring in all the lefties. And then you're talking about the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. There's not going to be anybody on the other team's bench when they're facing off the, that 99-mile-per-hour fastball from Nelson.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I personally want them to do the 6-man rotation, because I think it's going to save a lot of rest for these guys come middle of September and October. And I think that, like, that could be huge for this team. Now, no, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it. Brett, do you think Jamont did enough to stay in the rotation today?
I think yes, just because I mean it wasn't. I know on the box score it wasn't the prettiest, especially again when you're looking at a team with the record like that. But as Gabe said in game one part, the Rockies still have a pretty decent lineup. Like Tolia can still swing it. Brendan Rodgers, like he took Brandon Fott deep. Tovar has been a pretty solid bat. Brendan Doyle's been really hot in the last 2 months. So they're not just like the White Sox, even though they put up like 9 of the Yankees. They're not some of these really bottom feeder teams. It's their pitching is kind of what hampers them a lot, as you've seen from the bullpen and also their defense. So their offense can slug. Going 6 innings, 3 runs. I mean, even the 3 walks. If he can just dial the walks down a little bit, I think this Rockies team. I know even though Fott had 11 Ks and today Monty had 7 or 8. I think they're just a little harder to strike out because it did seem like some of their strikeouts came in 5, 6 plus pitch at bats. So I still think that he did pretty solid against an okay lineup that we would have expected him to do this against. So I think he did his job. I do agree with Gabe. 5 innings, 85 pitches, kind of ish. Unless he's at 5 innings and 60 pitches, let him go out for another one and see what he can get going with it. But he does seem to lose a little bit of gas. I was genuinely surprised they let him go to 106 pitches, but the 22 whiffs mean he definitely had something working. And then I noticed there was even a fun stat from the Snake Pit that they tweeted that I sent in the group chat that I went here, and I tweaked a little bit. I added and I updated the stats to it. So in his 8 wins for the Dbacks so far, he has gone 46 and 2/3, 43 hits, 16 runs, 11 walks. He's given up 3 home runs. And has 34 strikeouts. Basically averages out to 5 2/3 a game, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks, and a 3.11 ERA. I'd take that. Like if we can get that from Monty every time, I would take that. And I think a 6-man rotation, or like Gabe said, with the inning pitch limit, I think that'd go a long way with even. I feel like the confidence is something that we always talk about with some pitcher or hitter every episode, getting their confidence back. I think that could be key for getting Monty back in the rhythm, because we know what he can do in the playoffs. We saw it for the Rangers last year. If he can get back into that same mindset and the same form that we saw, especially with he was touching his I think fastball was getting up to 93, almost 94. So that was a good sign. Seems like he's starting to get a little more fully stretched out from not having a normal spring training. So I think he still has enough to say in the rotation. It's just going to have to be one of those they play it every start, every turn through the rotation. Hey, Monty did good, Ryan did good. Just keep things rolling the way they are. You can play matchups a little bit easier. If Monty gets shelled, Ryan, you're coming in early, and then you're just using a 5-man rotation for that turn through the rotation, and then you're back to square one again. So I don't think there's anything necessarily bad about keeping him in the rotation. At least I just think you gotta play it start by start and from here until the end of the season.
Yeah. Corbin Barrels. No, we are not at the capability for super chats yet. We need 1,000 subscribers for that. Just post in the chat what you want us to talk real quick, and then we'll do it after we talk game 3 here. Because it's fine. Our chat's not that big where we're gonna miss it, so don't worry about it. I don't know. I like Ryan Nelson. Ryan Nelson is pitching so well right now, and I think they need to keep him pitching. I think it would be a big disservice to him after what he's done the last month to 6 weeks. It would not set them up for success if they kind of. So I'm hoping they do the 6-man rotation. Just they're not going to say it because they're probably super superstitious about it. So moving on here, Eugenio Suarez. I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm speaking for myself. I'm sorry I didn't recognize your game. I really am. This man's been on fire since July 1st. Like it's been like it's the last 30 games. His OPS, you guys, is over 1,000. Absolutely crazy. Like he's batting 235. If you would have asked me that July 1st, I've been like, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, like I really didn't think he was gonna last. I don't know what I don't know if he had a talk with Tori or something, or he just. I'm wondering if he was trying too hard to be that power guy that they needed, and he just started letting the game come to him and just take what he's been given. But he's 18 homers. Like he has a chance to finish at 25. And if he can stay at this 230 average, that's enough for me. When you hit that 20 to 25 bombs, and his strikeouts are not that high compared to his at-bats. It's over 400 at-bats and only 130 strikeouts. I don't think that's terrible. Like, we know he's not a disciplined hitter, so I'm not expecting him to have that low strikeout. And he's starting to get the homers, which is what we all knew what was going to happen. We knew that he was gonna have the strikeouts. We were just hoping that the homers would come along, and for a while it wasn't, and that's what we got scared about. But he came back. He's playing really well right now, and it seems like it was a flip of the switch. Like July 1st, he's like, "Oh, I need to actually start playing." Gabe, is there anything that you've noticed differently from Gino since July 1st? From before that, or do you just think he just like something changed, or he's just really hot right now?
All I've heard from other broadcasts and reports is just that he had been working out a lot throughout the whole slump. So it wasn't like he was just giving up or anything. He had been working a lot with Joe Mather, the hitting coach and stuff, and it's just it all seemed to have clicked at the right time. Maybe he just unlocked something, especially being an older player. Velocity, it just takes you a little bit more time to adjust. And some of the younger guys who are facing 100, the minor leagues, when you're older, you just have to get ahead of the count a little bit more, ahead of the pitch, I would say. Just maybe keep your arms a little bit lower than usual. But yeah, he's just been on tear, and yeah, he's making all of us eat our words because we were talking about him, potentially being DFA'd because just wasn't performing. And especially if you looked at the numbers and his baseball savant page, it was just like he's striking out a lot. He's not making good contact. Like there's nothing here that you're like, well, he's hitting 103 mph off the bat. It's just going straight to defenders or anything like we've seen with some other guys. It was literally just, low contact, low barrel rate, just nothing there that would indicate that he's going to have a turnaround. And then, like you said, just a flip of a switch. Suddenly he hit a home run, then he hit another one, then he hit another one. And you're like, oh, okay. Like apparently he's flipped a switch. Suddenly he's now, Barry Bonds suddenly. And it's just one of those things where, like, I guess sometimes we just have to trust certain guys that. And the thing is, we're not Mariners fans. We haven't watched the Mariners, play a whole bunch. So we can be forgiven for not knowing exactly how great he is, the second half of the season. So, but it seems to be like a career thing for him that he does every year. He struggles in the first half, switches it on again in the second half. But I think we're seeing him be even better than he has been in other years. He has a little bit more protection in the lineup. And again, just having Perdomo back and before Alec, like certain guys are just hitting up. So he doesn't have to be the hero every night. And I think maybe that's kind of the issue with him and some of the other guys early on, which is they all wanted to be the hero. They're all playing hero ball. They all wanted to score 5 runs off of one hit. And you can't do that every single time. And now he's just hitting a whole bunch of doubles. If he gets a pitch down the middle, like today, that changeup that just hung, he hits over a home run, which is what you want from him. We talked about, we know he's going to strike out a whole bunch, but it doesn't matter. If he hits, 10 home runs a month or something like that, then we're golden. And right now he seems to be like on that sort of weird pace where he's probably going to end up reaching 25 home runs for the season after starting, the first couple of months he had 6 home runs in 2 months or something like that. Like he's going to hit 20 in in less than 3 months, maybe.
Yeah. Last 30 days, he has 11 homers. Like, it's over half of his season total is in the last 30 days. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know what it is. Gino, just keep doing what you do. Like, if there's a certain thing you do when you get to the ballpark, keep doing it. Like, baseball, for me, I'm superstitious with baseball. Like, if you do something and you continue to play well, keep doing it. Just I don't care. Or maybe you eat a certain food, or you put your socks and pants on a certain. I don't care what it is. Keep doing it, because this power, and it's so crazy. We're doing this without Walker and Moreno right now. Can you imagine what this team's going to be with them back?
Or Cattell.
Yeah, like Cattell's been really not playing for the last 3 days. And to be honest, I'd be okay if they don't want to play him that much against Tampa. Like, I would rather them.
That ruins the MVP chance. Like, fucking, I'd rather just make sure he's healthy.
Yeah, like, it's fun if he doesn't win the MVP. As long as he's 100% healthy for the stretch run here in September and October, I'm fine with that. I was like, I'd rather have a World Series than an MVP. So yeah. Brett, is there anything that you feel like you've noticed with Gino the last 30 days? So what could be a factor, or is it he's just hot right now?
I don't know if it's fully on the. I think it could be a little bit if he's adjusted, and it does. Like Gabe said, we didn't know it takes him a little bit to heat up. I think it might just be when he was struggling, the entire team was struggling. He was brought over to be the vibes guy, the homers guy. I think it could have been a little bit. He was, pressing too much at the plate to be the guy that had the big swing. It seemed like there were so many guys on the team at the moment. Like Corbin, when he was going through his like insane slump. Even Jake before he started to get really hot. When Cattell was, having his 2-3 week stretch where he was kind of, doing 1 for 4, 1 for 5s with only a single every now and then. I think he was trying to be the guy that got the offense going and just wasn't getting the job done, because I was looking at the, the splits on the numbers. I went back to, June 1st when the team itself started to turn things around. And from June 1st on, he's still really good. He's got a 246 average, 332 on base, 502 slug for 834 OPS, 128 WRC plus. So I think, it's good right there. But if you kind of butter knife out the first month and you go off of July 1st, or if you butter off that June month when the D-backs really got hot, and you go from July 1st when, the rest of the team was fully clicking, when they let the lay down and Diamondbacks fully seem like they got buried. From July 1st on, he in 37 games is slashing 299, 358, 627 for a 984 OPS and a 166 WRC plus. So I think one of the big keys is genuinely just there's other guys in the lineup. It's not he doesn't have to worry about being the guy that gets the big hit. Like it seems like from us going, to oh my gosh, Gino, there's 2 outs. We need you to get a big hit with runners in scoring position. He's kind of providing some more of the insurance. Like he's still getting, even game 1 against the Phillies, the solo shot. He's still getting some of those clutch home runs here and there. But it seems like he's in those less pressure situations, or at least the rest of the team is performing well enough to where he's not the only person. He's not the big bopper. You got Jock, you got Bell. When Cattell's back and healthy, you got him. Corbin lately, he's got over 900 OPS, I believe, in his last 30 games. So I think it's just this offense in general, when they're clicking, really helps even just everybody in the entire lineup from top to bottom. We've said it before, it's a different guy almost every night. I think it's just one of the big keys to where he doesn't have to stress as much about, proving why he's here. He's already proven it. He's already gotten his numbers basically up to what we would have asked him to. I believe his numbers at 235, 311, 431. His WRC plus is still below 100. But if he can get to those 20, 25 home runs, it's exactly what we asked of him. And I think that's the biggest reason is he doesn't have to focus on being the key to the offense.
Yeah, and the thing is, we don't need him to be our best player. Like we just need to have him keep doing what he's doing. Like for me, a home run a series is enough for me. More, that's simply fantastic. So yeah, we may have to thank Red Sox Nation for the streak due to Kitty Cattell. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, so um, so yeah, I was gonna get into this. Again, I I was at work during the day and I breezed through a quick watch of Game Three. I wasn't really listening to the audio of the broadcast. Um, I just don't think Alec would be that kind of person that would be mad for being sent. Like, I can understand if he was playing well offensively, but he's still having a lot of those rollovers to second and first.
So I believe I know what Corbin and Red Sox are talking about because Gabe might have heard it too. I don't know if Gabe was listening to the radio because I believe you listen to the radio normally. I don't know if they talked about the same on there, but Chris and Bob were talking about how Torey Lovello having that conversation with him. It was a tough one. Like, it's players don't receive it well. Like, nobody's going to receive well when you're getting a demotion to where you could tell them like all the reasons why, like, hey, like, we still believe in you. You just need to work on the grounding over to second base. But they're really not, like Bob was even saying, players aren't really going to hear that. It's going to be kind of like in one ear out the other because they're going through that shock. So I don't think Alec would be that kind of like, I don't think they mentioned on if he had a sour reaction. I don't know if he was, I don't think he made any drama. I don't think he was like being like rude to Torey. Like that doesn't strike me as Alec at all. I could just imagine it's one of those where he hurt himself. He's been grinding his entire season to get back. He's just got to like 100 plate appearances. He's been doing his best. His underlying numbers are showing that he's just around the corner from turning it around, and he gets sent down. It's got to be tough. Like even it's not even me, and just I'm like I couldn't even imagine being in those shoes. Like I would go home and I'd be like, what does it even matter? Why I'm going to care? Like, but I think I think Alec's going to turn it around. Like I don't think he's going to use it as a screw you, Torey, screw you guys for sending me down. I think he understands it, but I think that was the point of the broadcast they're getting it across where this is never a fun thing for Torey or any manager to have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can look it up for next time, for the next episode, just because I listened to the radio, so they didn't talk about it there. When they mentioned on the broadcast, I can just rewatch the broadcast and see maybe if they said something about it. But as time goes on, I think there's going to be a little bit more news coming out about, maybe his attitude towards it. But I mean, yeah, I don't think Alec would be that type of player. But also, I mean, you never know. It just could be, a little bit of a sour reaction because they did tweet out that his locker was being cleared kind of abruptly. There's kind of no indication that he was being sent down or anything. There wasn't any sort of lead up to it. So I can understand maybe if he was a bit upset about it, especially because I feel like to a certain extent he hasn't gotten a fair shake since coming back from the injured list because is he still at 99 at bats? Like I don't think he's
just
even
past
reached
100. Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not entirely on him. The way Jake is playing right now, and Corbin is being starting to come to be that Corbin. It's not on Al. It's just they're playing so well that they need to put them in. And with this whole Cattell situation, like they need an infielder right now. And I could see that when Cattell is back to being healthy, I could see them bringing him back up.
Yeah, especially because Cattell's not on the injured list, so they don't have to move anyone back or anything when when he starts playing again. So maybe when he comes back, giving Newman some days off, putting Blaze out there, because Blaze it's not like Blaze is doing that good in Reno either. So I think as soon as Cattell comes back, we might see Alec come back. But again, I can understand it a little bit if he has a bit of a sore reaction from it because I guess I would too because I'm like, hey man, like I've been injured most of this time. Like it's hard to adjust, especially when I'm playing part time. Like doing this is really hard. When you're facing off, against the best pitchers in the league who they've all had a chance to adjust, and he just hasn't had time to adjust. So I can understand if he had a little bit of sore reaction. But again, I think we can talk about it for the next podcast episode if we find more information. in the next coming days.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I just personally feel Alec will be back up, and I think Alec will be on the postseason roster because of that defense. Like he's like they are going to need him for like that defense. So I think he'll be back, and I truly feel it's due to the Marte injury right now. They want another infielder because right now it was literally they had no one else. Like they didn't have a pure bench guy. Like
I don't even know if he'll fully be back up just after the Marte injury. I mean, obviously, I don't even think that's what we'd expect, but I do believe I saw a tweet that Walker was asymptomatic and that he is, progressing on the plan to get him back. So there's potential that when he comes back, Blaze is probably sent down for him, and that still kind of takes up that roster spot. And I mean, I agree. I hope we see him on the playoff roster, but it's one of those where, I mean, if Jake is still playing good enough defense, they might justify it. In a, sorry, man, hate to do it to you, but
yeah, it's gonna be a tough decision. Like I was thinking maybe a bullpen arm, but I was looking at the bullpen right now. I can't think of anyone to remove, and no matter how much the fans want it, they are not going to DFA Jordan Montgomery, and he doesn't have options, so that's not something they're going to do. They're going to have a tough, it's going to be tough decisions. It's not going to be easy. Red Sox Nation with Marte, I think it depends on how he feels Friday morning. With him not playing today, tomorrow being an off day, but they are traveling, so being in the air, it might do something to his ankle. I think it's going to depend on how he feels on Friday. And again, Torrey may have to protect Ketel from himself. I saw a lot of people on Twitter being mad at Torrey for playing Ketel on Tuesday. I'm like, well, Torrey doesn't know what Ketel's physically feeling, so he trusts Ketel to tell him how he feels. And we know Ketel's very competitive. So Ketel obviously probably told him he's good to go. So he assumed he was. So they may just have to make the tough decision to maybe sit him like one extra day maybe. I just really think it all depends on how he feels Friday after traveling. So, Ketel is the reason we are where we are. He's been our most consistent hitter all season. When everyone else was slumping, he wasn't. So we want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Red Sox Nation for subscribing. Corbin Barrels. Let me see who else. I don't want to miss anyone. Josh, Bubba. I'm not gonna our lovely troll we had today. I'm not saying that name. And we have one. Bryce. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Dank. We appreciate everyone being in here.
William as well. William Harold.
Yep. My man, William Harold. Just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our future episodes. Smart man, Dank. Very smart man. Being an Advantage member. You can ask Brett. It's pretty freaking cool. Like, you get a lot of cool stuff. But
you get one of every giveaway guaranteed at the end of the year.
I will say this. If you're not on Twitter, you want to follow us because we are doing a giveaway with what Brett has in his hand right now. So we're giving away the Lourdes Gurriel Stormtrooper bobblehead. We're giving away the NLCS replica ring that was given out this past Saturday. And it's the 2001 replica ring too.
Yeah, they gave this away in 2011, but this is the 2001 World Series replica ring. Which, just comparing the two, very funny how replicas have changed over the years.
So make sure to go ahead and follow us on Twitter. To be honest, if you're not on Twitter and you really want to enter send us an email, dbacksdispatch@gmail.com. We will make sure that you are included because we know that not all of you. So, Corbin, send us an email, dbacksdispatch@gmail.com. We will make sure you get included in the giveaway. Because, yeah, we know some of you don't have Twitter. Red Sox Nation, same thing. dbacksdispatch@gmail.com. Just put in your name.
If you don't have Twitter, you can probably, put YouTube sub, basically work the same. You can just subscribe on there.
Yeah, so if you just want to do it that way, that works as well. So, sorry, diamondbacksdispatch@gmail.com. So, diamondbacksdispatch@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put giveaway. And we'll make sure that you guys get included there because we want to make sure that everyone has a chance because we know some of you don't have Twitter. So just go ahead and send us that. Red Sox Nation, we go live after every series. So once the final game of the series is over, we typically go live that day. And it's typically around this time, 6, 7 Pacific, 9 Eastern, typically. So when you're subscribed, right next to the subscribe button, there's like a little bell. If you hit that and change it to all, you'll get an email or a push notification on your phone saying we are about to go live or we are live. That is the best way to make sure. So, yeah, Oscar, we're going to have to ban you. Gabe, you need to get control of your brother. He is kind of a menace. But we appreciate it. Looks like Dink submitted as well. Dink, thanks for the email. We will make sure that you do get included. So be great there. It's been really great. I think we got everything answered. Unless you guys see anything else you want to bring up today.
I think it's nice to see this series itself, them score some runs without the home run. I know we touched on it last time. It was just really good to see them win games, manufacture runs, the way we've seen them do it before. I know Gino, even his grand slam, but you take that out. It wasn't like the Philly series where they're putting up, like 10, 11 runs, only 2 of them were on the home run. But it was still really good to see them win at least 2 of the games with just genuinely without even having to rely on the long ball.
Yeah. And what I'll say we'll do a quick Rays breakdown here. We don't know what the pitching matchups are, but win the series. That's all I care about. Win the series. We're 12-0-1 in our last 13 series. That's why we are where we are, is we are winning series. We've won all but one of them, and we tied one with the Braves. So I'd say that's a success. And that was before the Braves just fell off a cliff, too. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Everyone, enjoy this outro.
It's the Dbacks dispatch. Let's go. Yeah, bring the red game to Josh on the floor. West Coast vibes, catch us on the air. Home running dogs, diamond gems we share. Brandon was a stat, Caesar man was a plan. Red brace it down, tells it like it is, man. Gabs on fire, brings the heat every time. Josh on the mix, keep the beat so prime. Ain't got the insights every week's a hit. Tune in, Dbacks dispatch, this is it. Now we rollin'. Dbacks dispatch, yeah. Talk to Brandon, Gabe, this is Big Catch. Josh on the mix, he makes the beats. West Coast vibe, got the G fucking the band. The home Mac, the home Mac, the home Mac, home Mac. Dbacks dispatch, we here to stay. Yeah, catch us every week, we bring the flavor to it. We got the home Mac, the home Mac, the home Mac, home Mac. Dbacks dispatch, we here to stay. Catch us every week, we bring the flavor to it.